Yeah. Alright, making this video for a second time. Camera failed on me. Disappointing. Anyway, it's just bailed right in the middle of the video. So, second try. Anyway, response to Piro, who's responding to thou art that, and my response. And so the question is whether the human pig, the human race thing, this magical gift of life, blah 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 blah, is something you can put enough lipstick on, or augment in some way to make it truly playable rationally by something that has a brain. Um, Make it a good game, whether it's a good gameable kind of a thing. And the answer from these glibbists, these I'm not going to think too hard on this subject. Of course, is oh sure we can figure it out, and even if it's 1,000,000,000 to 1 odds, it's a lottery worth playing. It's only victims we're creating. Ha 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 ha. Just mush. Anyway, so Piro's angle is going back to Camus and the Sisyphus crap, and like, oh yeah, let's all put on our sponge finger. Sisyphus, you're number one, man. You're the man. Cool, cool. Yeah, push that boulder, baby. Push the boulder. Why? Because there's no other game in town. Because there's no other game in town, let's play this one. Even if it's idiotic. Even if we all look like Tutu Boo Boo, eating our fried spaghetti. Even if it's idiocracy, go ahead, play idiocracy. Because we're just too damn horny to play some idiotic game. Because we're not adult enough to just admit, okay, yes, this, yeah, this is a spider, this is nasty bits, and there's just no point in trying. Come on. It's not going to work. You're just going to end up with Frankenstein horror, and foobar for everybody. Yeah, Frankenstein foobar. It's just no point, and yet you're going to argue there's a point. Why? Because, yeah, you're a silly person. And here's the evidence of it. Yeah, I'll play this part.
Fundamental difference. The reason I don't make a conclusion like the anti-natalists make. Well, first of all, it's much more personal to me in the sense that if I can...
Philosophy should be personal. Isn't that cute? Sorry, this is not cute. So he's asking the question. They're basically doing this thing. The real question is, should you commit suicide or not? No, that's not the real question.
Into that conclusion, I don't know why I personally would go on.
So he's faced with a dire circumstance. He's in some horrible circumstance. He's a slave, let's say. Enslaved by the Martians, and humans are being used for food. And his response is, gee, I don't know if I can stand this. It's rather dismal and horrid. I don't really like it. I'll kill myself. He's not going to say, hey, I'm going to get them motherfucker Martians. I'm going to save that guy over there from being, ground up. Today, anyway. For today. He won't get ground up. I'm going to fight. No, he would just give up and say, no, can't do anything, can't make it any better, can't fix the situation, can't rescue the human race, certainly can't fight for it. It's not worth fighting for victory against the Martians. So he's basically saying, look, if you declare nature a problem, well, there's no point in fighting. It's too big a monster. Give up. Be a pussy. All right. So deny all of human romantic, all the other stoic myths of humanity. All the ones, the Shakespeare's, the plays, the endless tales of superhero adventurism of the human race. All these thousands of years of dramatic storytelling of how I'm not going to take it anymore and I'm going to give it the stick, the shaft to the man. Deny all of that and say these are your options. No, this is not. This is nothing. This is a cop out. I haven't thought about this subject at all. If there was 500 train wrecks a year in America and you could prevent 2 of them by living, wouldn't it not be worth you living then? I mean, if you could prevent yourself from existing, just one more new individual, one new victim of a disease you had, let's say, you could prevent them from existing. Well, right there you've got a neutral. So if you survive your pain to prevent their pain, you've won in the sense that now you're at neutral. And so everything from that point on will be gravy, will be dessert, will be candy, will be benefit, will be bonus, will be plus. So it's like you haven't even given this idea of utilitarianism as a philosophy, and positive or negative, any thought whatsoever. You just glibited all over the subject. Glib, 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 glib. Cliche, cliche. Nothing. Nothing. No, there's no food value in this mushy, non-thoughtful response.
To me, if I decided that life should end, I don't know, wouldn't stick around for the what I consider a very unrealistic idea.
A very unrealistic idea of what? That I can't stop one more birth? I can't stop a single birth from happening? That's your contention? That if I live, I cannot stop somebody else from being born? I don't have to annihilate the whole human race to win here. I don't have to annihilate all living things to win in this war. Okay, yes, it's a lesser win. The victory is that you stopped the Nazis from invading you. Okay, you didn't stop them from, imposing on their own people or doing this or doing that. You didn't stop the whole crime, but you stopped a big piece of the crime. So so again, you've given this no thought. You've given it absolutely no thought. These are not your choices. Your choices aren't, should I kill myself? Your choice is, will I use myself as productively as possible, or will I not? Will I selfishly and subjectively do what's in my personal best interest, or will I do what's in the interest of the sentience I'm supposed to care about?
Of convincing all life to end, a lot of the life that would have to end is beyond convincing. You can't convince the animals of the forest.
Oh yeah, well duh, but we can manage them quite obviously. Quite obviously, some of them we've almost annihilated from their existence on this planet. Well, thousands, hundreds of thousands of species we've annihilated inadvertently. Some overtly, aggressively. We took care of smallpox. We've taken care of a lot of nasties out there that we didn't like. So obviously I think we're just as capable of euthanizing or pulling the plug on or doing all this other stuff. If we can aggressively murder Hitler, I'm sure we can, gracefully pull the plug on, Kevorkian or, or Roosevelt, or, find a nice guy somewhere and give them the benefit of a graceful end. So that argument is fallacious and empty and vacant. It doesn't mean anything. We can't control anything. We can control absolutely everything, which is quite obvious. We're on the verge of changing the atmosphere into Venus's atmosphere. You're telling us we have no power? No, we have tremendous power. And again, to veil your side as being in this, we're the rugged fighters. When you can't even imagine what it is to be the person on the other side. You haven't even analyzed this battlefield at all, and yet you're pointing your kind of a wimpy coward. Oh, I don't want to be a coward. You don't. Those aren't your two choices. Your surrender is no, 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 no. There's no surrender. There's an admission that the only way the war is going to get won is that we have to sacrifice something to do it. Yeah. Oh, gee. So anyway, I won't go in. The rest of the video is absolutely mush, drivel. So there is one part where he talks about speciation, and Matt was talking about this, like somehow we're evolving. This whole evolution thing is just such a preposterous argument to be making. We're obviously not evolving by natural or special selection. There's neither one is being practiced by the human race. So selection has been completely broken in that there is nothing selecting now. Not nature, not our intelligence. So we're not guiding our pedigree in any direction deliberately, and nature's not selecting. So we're becoming some other kind of chaotic selection process. So we're not going to evolve in any, not likely to get anything positive out of that kind of bent and distorted and perverted selection process. But even if we could evolve into what? We now possess what can only there's no rational argument you can make that there's some other tool of greater power than our intellect is right now. You know, I mean, obviously we could have more data, we could have more raw facts, but the fact is we have invented the computer. Oh yes, you can make a faster computer, you can make a quieter computer, you can make a lot of things, a smaller computer, but it's a computer. We've climbed over the edge of the crevices. We're on the plateau of you can't do much better than this. All right, all you can do is add feathers and some color and some, you know, you can tweak with the edges of it, but you've got the machine already. We don't need to evolve. Okay, the truth is that intelligence is going to get you in big trouble. So you're going to have to go back to being skanky boo-boo and eating fried spaghetti. You're going to have to go back to idiocracy because intelligence isn't going to be able to play your idiotic game. The smarter you get, the game isn't going to get better. The game isn't going to get more sensible. There's not going to be more reward in playing the game. It's going to be exactly the opposite. So if you evolve into a greater intelligence, you're going to fail. And so you're just arguing for idiocracy. You're just arguing, let's go back to being fucking, you know, swatting flies, monkeys. And call that a win. And I call that a preposterous failure in terms of an evolution. That's a devolution. And it's an insult to we finally got the power faculty. There's no better faculty. Intelligence. You really can't come up with something that we could create that could be more magnificent than that. I mean, obviously the sentient experience is shared by lots of mammalian creatures. It's not special to us, and that's an incredibly, you know, it's an important tool, but that's the tool that brings all this tragedy. And that's the downside of it is it's a need mechanism. First you have to create the hunger before you can satisfy the hunger. And so that, when you understand it in some sort of Freudian way, is a reverse psychology being played on us. It's an insidious need and want game where we are deluded, you know, into thinking we're winning. It's the retard, you know, arguing on the internet, thinking he's winning. It's whatever example you want to use of the failure who thinks, you know, they're not failing. So I mean, we're already there. We're already across the finish line, so to speak, in terms of having the substance of the best you can get. And even with the best you can get, there's nothing but downside to having it, because it's the universe itself is made out of a substance. There's no way intelligence could ever warm up to it. It is crap. And if you sit there and cuddle the crap, okay, your intelligence is going to know it's crap. It's going to see it for what it is. It's going to see the blood on it, and it's going to be, you know, a little horrified. So you know, this whole pretense that we have somewhere to evolve to. The only thing we can evolve into is Teletubby, is Stinky Boo Boo, is idiocracy. That's all all you can do is drive our evolution down. You can't drive it up, because the smarter you make us, the less playable the game is. And that's the nature of the game. Sisyphus makes less sense the more intelligent you get. Only, sorry, but imbeciles, okay, think something's purposeful for the sake of its purposefulness. Okay, you do it because, oh, you've done it in the past, so yeah, just keep doing it. Yeah, Sisyphus figured out that boulder pushing thing, so let's just keep doing it because he thought of it first. But yeah, let's just keep doing it because it's a good idea. That's what an idiot does. Something with a brain sits there and analyzes and saying, is there anything functional or productive to this? And they don't pretend that Sisyphus is free, that you're just pushing boulders in some kind of free universe where it's all free energy and it's all no friction and nobody dies of horrible diseases and nobody suffers intense pain. No one has to chew their own leg off in an earthquake or any of that crap happens. All right? Yeah, you don't pretend that Sisyphus is free when you're intelligent. And that's all you people are doing. You're just using it as a psychic game. um, to play some sort of let's all be courageous and fight for the 1 in a million chance that we can put enough lipstick on this pig to have a romantic encounter that's worth the trouble, when there's no chance. You're just pretending. And you're pretending with vague, idiotic notions that somehow if we get dumb enough, the stupid game is going to seem smart. And that's our strategy. Oh, come on. Be fair. So first, be fair to utilitarian thought, which you have given no thought to. And second, be fair to this notion that you have some faculties of human functionality that aren't going to be detrimental to intelligence, not assets to intelligence, to get human beings to bliss. Look, it's not a fake statement, all right, that there's a connection between bliss and ignorance. That connection was observed by human beings, just like E equals mc squared. This connection between bliss and ignorance exists. Those are facts of the reality. And deal with those facts and quit pretending they don't exist. When I played your video, it didn't really bother me that much, but now that I think about it, yeah, it's just more glib crap. So thank you very much for nothing, for insulting my intelligence. Like I can't figure out something better to do than kill myself in response to a problem. That I can't think of any solution whatsoever that could make the situation at all better. Ugh, God. It's pathetic. Especially this far into the conversation, to sit there and have to explain to somebody why a utilitarian doesn't see suicide as a good battle strategy. Somehow you win the war by let's all shoot ourselves like the crack Suicide Squad in the Life of Brian, and we'll save the day that way. Well, maybe we did as an organized effort to extort the human race. There might be some hope of that. I mean, if a few 100,000 of us got together and said we're all going to kill ourselves if you don't fucking fly right, that might make sense. But otherwise, this idea that you can do nothing to correct for the future, you'll do nothing to enhance the future, is crap. Yes, you can convince one person. You can prevent one birth. You can do it. Yeah, you can. Anyway, till next time.